All right, let's dive into a really wild fan theory for the web series Ekaki. It's one of those that takes the story in a direction you would never expect. It's dark, it's hilarious, and honestly, it's kind of brilliant. And the whole thing really just boils down to this one simple question. Who is the real Aryan? Because the answer to that unravels this massive hidden conspiracy that, believe it or not, starts way, way out in space. So, the foundation for this whole wild ride is a pretty classic sci-fi idea. At its core, this isn't just a story about a group of friends. It's a story about an alien experiment. And the aliens running the show, well, they're not your typical little green men. So picture this. You've got these aliens who are absolute masters of logic, but the trade-off is that they have zero emotion, no empathy, no compassion, nothing. To them, we're just a puzzle, and the way they try to solve us is through these incredibly cruel experiments. The really twisted part? They think they're doing it to save us, to save humanity's future. And this isn't a one-time thing. They're doing this all over the globe. And this is where it gets genuinely creepy. These experiments happen inside these invisible contained areas they call alien domes. Inside a dome, the rules of physics just bend. Time and energy get all distorted, so much so that a single year spent inside one of these domes is the same as 5 whole years passing in the real world. Think about that for a second. Now, to really get the rules of their twisted game, we have to look at what happened before. We need to talk about their first subject, a guy named Sarkar, and his story. Well, it's just an absolute tragedy. It all starts with a line that sounds so simple, so innocent. It's designed to prey on the one thing these aliens just don't understand, our empathy. A stranger comes up to you and says, "My uncle has a bungalow. Can you help for just one day?" And that's it. That's the bait. That's how they get you. And here's just how horrific it gets. Day 1, Sarkar, this linguistics expert, he gets lured in. Day 2, bam, they leave a mutant newborn for him. The deal is, raise it, and you'll be let go. A year goes by inside the dome. The child is now basically a teenager, and Sarkar is stuck in this nightmare loop he can't break out of. After a year and a half, he's on his deathbed, and the thing he raised, which now looks like a 25-year-old man, kills him and buries him. Total, merciless failure. Okay, so after all that grim, dark sci-fi horror, the story just does a complete 180-degree turn. For their next experiment, the aliens pick a totally new kind of subject, a group of kind of lazy, indifferent content creators. And this is where the story becomes what you can only call a brain rot comedy. And this is really the whole joke right here. You've got these hyper-logical, super serious aliens with their meticulous plans, and they are about to run headfirst into a brick wall of pure, unfiltered human absurdity. They have no idea what they're in for. So, first move, the aliens try some mind manipulation on one of the friends, Chashu. They want to create some drama, some conflict. And the human result? His friends just think he's being a weirdo. So what do? They throw him in the pool, which hilariously completely resets the mind control and forces the aliens back to square one. Okay, attempt number 2. They get a bit more clever. They use a mind-controlled shopkeeper to plant a clue about an escape bike, hoping the friends will find the roads are blocked and freak out. But they didn't count on one little detail. Tani is just too high to even register the message. She forgets it instantly. Panic level, 0. All right, now the aliens are getting frustrated, so they go for the big guns. They literally lower their spaceship to try and terrify them. But the friends have this perfectly logical reaction. Whoa, giant spaceship. It's probably a lot safer if we just stay inside the house. Again, the complete opposite of what the aliens were going for. And for the grand finale, the big scare tactic. The aliens plant a severed hand and a skull to prove the roads are blocked. But the friends already knew the roads were blocked. Why? Because they brought a drone with them. Can you just imagine the logical processors on that spaceship absolutely frying? All that work for nothing? So, this brings us to the aliens' last-ditch effort. All their psychological tricks, all their scare tactics have completely failed. So they fall back on their final gambit, a direct confrontation. It's time for the showdown of the two Aryans. So the real Aryan, the one they kidnapped at the start, actually manages to get back and tries to warn everybody. But the mutant who's been pretending to be him is right there insisting, "No, I'm the real one." It's just total chaos. The aliens are hoping this will finally trigger some kind of survival instinct.
And this right here, this is the moment everything changes. The mutant, because it has zero emotional control, it completely loses its temper, and its eyes change. And in that split second, the real Aryan, who must have been connected to their hive mind when he was captured, gets these flashes of Sarkar's story. And suddenly, he sees the whole pattern. He understands the game.
And seeing that pattern gives him the key. He realizes you can't fight them, you can't run from them. The only solution is to do something they could never, ever logically predict. It's all about reverse psychology. And Arian's plan it's beautiful in how simple it is. Step 1, stop trying to survive. Step 2, stop trying to escape. Step 3, ignore every single threat they throw at you. And the masterstroke, step 4, just sit down on the couch and pretend like you're having a good time. And you know what? It works. It absolutely works. The aliens, these super logical beings, are now faced with a group of humans who aren't fighting, aren't panicking. They're just chilling. It doesn't compute. Their brains can't process it. So they do the only logical thing they can think of. They abort the entire experiment. So they survived. They won. But the story doesn't quite end there. In the aftermath, you start to realize that this one totally bizarre failed experiment, it was just a tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. The cycle keeps going. And remember that crazy time distortion? That single day the friends were stuck in that bungalow? In the real world, nearly 6 full days had passed. A weird afternoon for them was a significant chunk of time and resources for the aliens. Which leads to this absolutely chilling final scene. A year later, Arian's in Africa shooting a vlog. And who does he see? The very same alien mutant, pulling the exact same "my uncle is sick" routine on another unsuspecting vlogger. The experiment never really stopped. And that leaves us with one last pretty haunting question to think about. If this one experiment only failed because it just so happened to run into the most chaotic, unpredictable group of friends on the planet, it really makes you wonder, right? How many other experiments all around the world are actually succeeding?